how competitive is middle school basketball for girls then?
It's extremely competitive, but depending on the region and the country, that could change. I think for everybody needs talent. Some people see an opportunity when it's a dead period to see if they can get people interested, and that's what I attribute that to.
Does high school basketball don't matter for girls then?
High school basketball definitely matters for girls.
Okay.
I just think people want to get talent for their teams. I feel basketball is one of the most disrespected sports.
In what sense?
Because I feel like people, just because they're able to watch it, they think they know enough to just critique and say whatever and say, they don't even know the rules of the game. The difference in between the basketball culture now here in the States versus internationally, it's all about me and myself and how good I can look scoring, as opposed to simplifying the game, understand how to play with other people.
Yeah, so with no further ado, I want to bring you guys Gideon Gamble from Sports Academy. Hey, how's it going, Coach?
Good, man. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Coach Gideon is a director with Sports Academy, but he also is the 17U head coach.
I'm the director for the Sports Academy Swish EYBL girls program.
There you go.
So I do coach on the 17s,
Okay.
but I have head coaches on each team that gives me the ability to float and support however I need to.
Okay, perfect. So but you do have experience as the head of both boys and girls.
Yes. Yeah. In the past, I've been the 17 EYBL head coach and the 16 EYBL head coach.
And what's the experience on the boys side as we kind of mirror them as we go through this conversation?
Yeah, on the boys side, I've been the head coach of an 8th grade elite team, 7th grade, 6th grade.
Okay.
Even down to the 5th.
To the babies.
Yeah, all the way down. And I've actually had a 4th grade group. So like starting off in the program, I generally will coach 3 teams each season.
Where do you tend to focus? I mean, so when you started, did you start with boys or girls?
So when we started the program in the fall and the winter, I coached all boys teams. So
okay.
I had a 4th, I had a 6th, and I had an 8th grade team.
Okay.
And then in the next couple of years, I had 2 boys teams and 1 girls teams, and that was in the fall and the winter.
And so that's really my lead on question is how did you transition from coaching boys to coaching girls?
Well, my niece really got me into it. So okay. I had no plans on coaching. I was still playing professionally. I was consistently getting jobs and I was playing year round. But one year in particular, I had a foot injury that kept me out from playing in the summer because I would play in the Dominican Republic or in Asia. In the summer. And so my niece was in 9th grade at the time, and my trainer, AJ Moye, who was also from Atlanta, he was coaching the 8th grade boys team with West Coast Elite, and he had some very good players like ZZ Clark, Isaiah Sherrard, Shashay Henderson, and some of those guys are playing collegiately right now.
Okay.
And so I started off coaching boys, and my niece never played at AAU, and so we were with West Coast Elite, and so there was an opportunity for her to play. And so Ryan Silver provided the opportunity with West Coast Elite. And so I started coaching girls and teaching my niece. And, one thing led to another. And, we were taking our boys teams to practice with Kobe's Mamba team down in Newport every other weekend.
Nice. So what was as you made that transition, right? So coaching with your niece as 15, I would imagine at 15U, that first time. So what was the immediate difference that you noticed as you were coming from coaching the boys and younger at that to now coaching high school girls? What was the glaring difference that you saw in the coaching styles?
I think they learn differently. They respond to coaching and feedback differently.
And how's that?
So with guys, you could challenge them a little bit more openly in front of everyone.
Okay.
So with the girls, and not all. Some of them you can give them feedback and challenge them in front of people. But for the most part, what I saw early on is they did better with giving them feedback individually and giving them the tougher criticism individually before you just say it out in front of everybody else and kind of call them out. And I think there's a big trust and relationship factor too. With the way they have to trust you.
Are the parents any different from one side to the other?
No. No. Same problems. It's the same problems.
Okay.
It's the same unrealistic expectations sometimes. And I'm fortunate in my program, I have great parents, and even we have our moments, but for the most part, I have great parents in the program, but there's no difference in between boys' parents and girls' parents.
Okay. So throughout this conversation, we're going to walk our way up from middle school, because you've coached middle school girls, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to walk our way up from middle school through high school, just in kind of how things work. So the one glaring thing that at least I believe that I've noticed, and I could be incorrect, so I'm not around the girls' game a ton, is that they seem to be, I guess they seem to be better shooters, is what some people, I think that's like the thing most people would say, is that they shoot better than boys. Is that true, and why is that, if so?
I think for the most part, yes, that's true, because it's necessary, especially at the elite level. It's necessary for you to have a high level of skill, and you have to be able to shoot. You have to keep the defense honest, as opposed.
So boys don't need to know how to shoot?
They do. They do need to know how to shoot, but also during that 14, 15, 16 range is when their bodies start to change and they start flying. And some people can go over the top. Some people
shoot a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's they're able to lean on that athleticism a little bit more. Now, girls get athletic too, and some of them have great speed and change of directions where they can live and die by just getting by people. But at the top level, as you know, people start packing in those zones.
For sure.
And you have to be able to keep them honest.
And so that's just something that girls need to be able to do to play at that level, just because athleticism typically isn't where boys at. So they're focused more on the skill set.
Yeah. Because you have to be able to play with pace and space. But in order to space, you have to be able to shoot.
Okay.
And so as you play with, a lot of teams from the Midwest and different regions of the country, you might look at them and see, oh, this little team, I'm not worried about them. And they get out there slicing and dicing and shooting, and it's an ugly game. You can't judge a book by its cover.
For sure. And again, walking this thing up, since we're speaking about the middle school, how prevalent is it for girls to reclass in this day and age? Like it's running rampant in the boys' sport, and there's people on both sides of the argument. Right? We're not going to kind of go into that, but how prevalent it is for girls?
It's very common. Especially in California, because you have a lot of hybrid academies and schools with homeschool programs, and you have the modified school schedule where they're able to do classes online or go 1 or 2 days a week to school, and they're able to train.
And this is what grade are we talking about?
Middle school.
So it's 6th grade, 7th grade. Like for boys, it would be typically 6th grade. They would do it if they don't do it super early. Or they'll do 8th grade again. What is it on the girls' side of things?
Girls' side, typically it's 7th and 8th where you see the reclass happen. And you have some that end up being 14-year-old 8th graders, which is, that's not too far from the normal. And then on occasion, you'll have 15-year-old 8th graders, and the need is different. Some is a physical maturity, some is a social or educational need, and there's just different factors.
Yeah, I think 14, I want to say is common for 8th grade. Yeah, 14 is common for 8th grade. So, and do you think you've seen in the boys, the reclasses tend to be at the elite level and dominate? It's like, it's apparent that they're a reclass. Is it the same for you all on the girl side?
On occasion. There's also cases where kids are 13, and because they're just, physically superior to some of the kids, it's just an assumption that they're a holdback. And they try to use that as a jab or as a chant, but in reality, they're younger than the little kids. Genetics are in their favor.
I've also, more often than I see it on the boys' side, I've seen a 13 or a 7th grader go compete at the 15U, 16U in rare occasions, but seen them play up. But I'm just trying to say, it seems more common to see it on the girl side. Would you agree with that?
I do agree. Last year in our program on our 15 EYBL, we had 4 7th graders. All of them special. All of them started a good share of the games.
Okay.
That team actually did very well. Went on to the EYBL Final Four.
Hey.
Played a 5 overtime game that they came out on top, with the whole gym watching.
Okay.
And so, I think, like you said, on the girl side, you see that because physically those kids can hang and they're mature enough.
So you're telling me, because you had me until you said 4 of them. They're only special is a different word. Like there's only a couple special Ks, Aaliyah Chavez, Juju, right? So for you to tell me you got 4, I don't know, man. I don't know if me and the audience is rocking one. Is
right, yeah, but you could bookmark this interview and you'll see later down the line that it's no smoke in this one. Like a couple of them, one in particular, already has scholarship offers from South Carolina and other, Power 4 schools, but all 4 of those kids that I speak of have Power 4 offers. So the coaches see what I see.
Okay, perfect. So how competitive is middle school basketball for girls then?
It's extremely competitive, but depending on the region and the country, that could change. So what I mean by that is there are certain states in the country where they could play high school basketball as middle schoolers.
Okay.
So therefore, their youth tournaments either don't happen or they're not as competitive. And so in our case, we do our middle school teams based on who can practice together for the most part. But we also put groups together that are extremely talented that may only practice every other weekend.
So in California, are you allowed to play high school basketball in
not in CIF? There are a few schools that compete in like the grind session or other different high school leagues where they are allowing high school kids. But for
is that like a prep school type thing? Like when you mentioned the grind session, it's like more prep schoolish.
Yep.
And the reason being, just for those that know, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you only get so many years, much like college. I only get so many years of high school basketball. So if I start that clock ticking, I only get 4 years from if I start the 7th grade, I'm going to cap out maybe in 10th grade. I can't play anymore. Is that correct?
Well, in California, in CIF, middle schoolers can't play.
They just can't play, period.
They can't play high school basketball, no. But in different states, like I know, like in Alabama, I believe in Florida, and a few others, kids can play varsity basketball in 7th grade, and they can play all the way to high school.
Oh, so yeah, that's just different. And it's, I will say that one of the things that I've just noticed is that there's no, and I've said it before, there's no governance across the board, right? It's state by state in terms of how they do, who can play, what age they could play, things that when you can actually play. Because I believe some states don't even, much like I guess you don't allow when middle school is happening. Middle school basketball is kind of big, so they can't even play AAU during those time periods. So
exactly,
it's just weird from state to state.
And so that's why when you say how competitive is the girls' youth basketball, that's why it varies. And certain teams have to travel to get competition that's going to be enough of a challenge, because teams that just play locally, that have all the best talent on one team, it's hard for them to find a competitive challenge from another team. They have to, find challenges within themselves as a team.
Okay. On the boys' side, I guess it stays a little bit more competitive, maybe because it's rare. It's not the old school AAU where we just take the very, very, on the boys' side, the very, very best, throw them on one team, and then we're going to go play the next state. Now you got 5 or 6 sneaker sponsored teams in the same region. So we're going to split up. I'm not going to go over there because she's over there and I need my shots or I need my points. So you don't see that on the girl side. They're kind of still all sticking together. We're going to take the best and roll with that.
No. You definitely see it on the girl side. I think just now as the popularity grows in the game, there are more girls playing competitive basketball. But, speaking for someone in California's population, you're able to have enough teams that have enough talent.
Got you. And as you mentioned, you guys have got to move around and find some competition for middle school girls, right? We have a couple of qualifiers coming up in Arizona and Roseville where we'll have girls present. But if we had to mention some events that you as the Swish director, that I got to have my ladies in this, because we have a couple of prominent events that I know from the boys' side that people want to go to. Is there any of those, and I'm just refraining from mentioning them, but are there any of those like on the girls' side, like, yo, we have to go there and it's on the schedule? I may not know, but I know it's in March, or I know it's in June or July, whatever the case may be. What are some of those events that are can't misses?
Got you. So I think you just go based off the season of the year. So in the fall and the winter, there's one in November that's become a outstanding event that's done by Hyper Hoops.
Okay, Hyper Hoops.
Prelude is usually in the beginning of November.
Okay.
That's kind of the first, ultra competitive tournament, of the fall or / the winter. So Hyper Hoops does a great job. Then you have Made Hoops, has been doing it for a long time. Their circuit, we just went to Roseville. Good competition for the most part. It's just every year is different.
Okay.
So this class of 2030 is very competitive across the board. So
they stuck around. They didn't go up and play. Well, I guess 15s aren't playing right now, so they got to play.
Yeah, you have to play. You have to play. 8th grade right now, especially in California. As high school teams are preparing for their season, they're still playing in club events. And so if you have your youth, so high school teams, they play in fall leagues to prepare out here in California.
But are they playing other high schools, or are they playing AAU organizations?
They're playing other high schools, but high schools, they still play as club teams. So they don't play as their high school name. They'll play as whatever club team is most affiliated with that school.
Okay. So, but I'm just trying to make the distinction that like Sports Academy Swish is not like, I'm not going to have like a high school play under Swish. It's going to be like, if it's Redondo Beach, they'll just call them the Redondo Runners or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Something along those lines. Yes.
Okay.
And so in the fall, while they're playing as club teams, those are opportunities if you have an elite group of middle schoolers to play against high school teams.
So they can hop in those leagues.
Yeah, they could play in the high school division. They still have high school divisions in the fall, and then they have high school divisions early in the spring. So let's say CIF or teams get eliminated in February. In March, tournaments start to have high school divisions again.
Got you. As we talk about high school and AAU and club, I have a friend of mine, right? And his daughter plays. And we were having a conversation. And he was just mentioning that you speak about fall leagues, being with your high school around I guess it's September, October timeframe.
Yep.
Well, his AAU coach was actively setting up training sessions and having coaches perhaps look at the player. And I just felt that was typically the high school time. Like, I don't know if I would see that on the boys' side where they're crossing over and it's now high school time and we got club stuff going on. Even some club teams are actively having tryouts during that time when the seasons either hasn't started or is still going on for the high school. Why or how does that happen?
I think for everybody needs talent, right?
Okay.
So some people see an opportunity when it's a dead period to see if they can get people interested. And that's what I attribute that to.
So you have tryouts in the high school season sometimes hasn't even began yet. And you're having,
I mean, we don't have high school tryouts. We actively recruit.
But do you know it to happen? Let me ask you that.
Definitely. I've seen a lot of promotions for
that's crazy
tryouts in, October, November.
Does high school basketball don't matter for girls in?
High school basketball definitely matters for girls.
Okay.
I just think people want to get talent for their teams and they want to get rosters committed, by Halloween. So to each his own.
By Halloween? Wow.
No, some people really push to try to recruit for Halloween. And for the most part, I can't act like I don't have a lot of my team together, but it's not from.
You one of them.
No. It's just like in college. It's a retention. You want to retain your own players, and then you want to see what gaps you need to fill in to make your roster better and competitive for next year.
And when does next year start? When can you actively actually start playing? I would think March, April timeframe, right?
Yeah. So now those are two. You asked two questions.
Okay.
When does next year start? Next year starts in August.
For sure, because you're recruiting and having tryouts.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
actively recruiting throughout the year.
But you
But
can't
next year
play.
starts in August. No, you can't play until you don't play until April, technically.
Yo, you're starting 6 months early, locking in your team to play in April. Got it.
Stay ready. You got to stay ready. So yeah, so the next year starts in August. You don't play until April because you really have to identify. Okay, one, you have to look at your previous year. What did y'all do well? What could you do better? What families fit within the program?
Okay.
It's not just the players.
Yeah, that's important as well.
It's very important because one, we're big on protecting our environment. So we need an environment where kids can learn and make mistakes, without another parent yelling at them to pass the ball every possession.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Yeah, pass the ball. Yeah. And it's crazy when I hear that. I know as a parent that doesn't feel good, and the reaction always isn't the best if you're speaking about my child or someone's child. It's just issues. So then with you guys starting in August, playing in April, on the girl side of things, again, I'm just trying to compare the two, being on the boys side most of the time. Well, let's go back to the youth side really quick. So Run for the Roses, I believe that's like a national one that people. Do you guys ever participate in that?
We have in the past. We have, I would say, 2 out of the last 4 years we've played in Run for the Roses.
And what's that experience like?
It's great. I mean, it's a huge venue. It's a huge venue. It's probably the venue with the most amount of courts that I've ever witnessed or been a part of. And so I think just that experience, that was meaningful for me, and for the kids. There's other convention center events as well, but I think that's probably the largest one I've ever witnessed.
And what's do they start at middle school and also at high school? Like, what's the range from what you see in that gym for that event?
I believe it's predominantly high school. There are some middle school teams that probably play up, but it's during a live period event, so the majority of those teams will be high school teams.
Okay, so if we're talking about prominent events that I guess across the board that of course you have your circuit stuff, and we'll get there to like your EYBLs and your 3 SSBs, but you're looking at Made Hoops, Hyper Hoops, which is California based as well. And then once we start to get to the high school range, we'll go with the Run for the Roses. Then you have of course, you got your 4 circuits, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, and then I don't know if New Balance or like the Pro, like they have, or Puma.
But they've started one this year.
They have one this year. Okay, so
New Balance has started one this year, and then Puma has started a girls this year.
All right. So on the boys side, right, I'm shoe agnostic. That's what makes MSC as good. It's like I can promote, or I don't care as long as they could play or hoop. I don't care who you're affiliated with. But by and large, you do see a lot of talent clamoring to go to one circuit on the boys side. What is it like on the girl side? And now I think we're kind of transitioning to the high school side of things, but what is it? Is everybody looking to play on one stage?
So on the girl side, I wouldn't say everybody's trying to go to one stage because there's so many new opportunities now, and coaches are going to go to all of the circuits for the most part at the Division I level. Talent, they're going to find you. When you have elite talent, you have certain intangibles, and coaches think you could help them win, they're going to come find you. And coaches talk to each other. So, of course, EYBL, elite talent has reputation over the years, is consistent. You have the UAA, you have the 3 SSB. Those 3, I would say, have been long-standing in the girls' ecosystem. But, as the last couple of years, Select Events has done a great job of creating the Power 24.
Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah, I think at one point I was in the gym in Bella. I can't think of her, maybe Ragone or something. She's out of Georgia. I was watching her play, and she was killing. She'll be going to Notre Dame's upcoming year, and just talking to her father, and he mentioned, I expected him to say, because she dropped 40, and it was like it was a light 40, like it didn't even feel like it because it was so efficient, like she wasn't missing. And I was just talking to her dad, and I expected to hear one of the big 3 circuits, but he mentioned she was playing Select 40. So that was the first time I had actually heard of it.
Yep. Yeah, and so that's been emerging. I think so. Outside of that, now you have the Puma circuit, you have the New Balance circuit as well, and so that has yet to be seen. How that will go, but I know they're investing heavily, and so I wish everybody the best of luck on their circuits this year. But I will say top to bottom, there's a difference.
I was waiting to hear it. I was waiting for you to
Yeah,
get to it.
I mean,
you started out humble. I knew it was coming.
You see it, in the college ranks in USA basketball and the WNBA of top to bottom, meaning top of the conference, bottom of the conference, and everything in between. How many Division I players, how many players go on to the next level on those teams? On other circuits, you still have elite talent. You still have McDonald's All-Americans, but it's the depth of the teams and the depth of the competition within the league that is the differentiating factor.
Okay. On the girls side, because if I go back to that coach holding a workout for a young lady during the high school season, whether it was legal or not, but a college coach actually came to watch them work out, and it was several ladies. Where do most of the offers come from, do you believe, on the girls? Is it from my high school, from like playing at my high school through my high school season, or is it from the club side of things?
So all high school coaches' relationships aren't equal. There's certain coaches that have been doing this for decades and have long-standing relationships. So yes, they can come from high school, but for the most part, they do come from club competition, because then you have the elite talent in one place. In high school, there could be a huge disparity between one high school team and another. There can be kids, respectfully, that will never play basketball again after high school, guarding you. But for the most part, when you go into these club situations, what they signed up for is being on a stage for future college players. Okay. That way it's easier to judge, we're doing this against another Division I recruit versus a great kid.
So at the middle school level, does it also start in August? Like, when do you also start that recruitment process for like the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade Swish? Like, when does that start for them?
So recruiting for the youth teams is a little different, because we focus on, it's more about just development. So we have our different hubs of teams. We're in San Diego, we're in Orange County, we're in LA, we're in Ventura County, we're in NorCal, in Arizona. So we want to form groups that consistently can practice together.
Okay.
And so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so because that's my question is, I guess it's more of a high school question. So who's responsible for development? Like, when do you have time to develop? If you start recruiting in August, but then it's high school time, and then you guys are kind of pulling them to do workouts and tryouts, and then when they get to April, they're playing. Who does the development? Like, where's the onus for development?
Got you. So the onus for development it takes a village. So high school coaches, the difference between high school coaching and club coaching, high school coaches have them 5 days a week. Club coaches, we have them 2 days on the weekend. Some coaches are great with their training camps, and they get 4 practices a weekend. And so it takes a combination. For us, we offer skills training and sports performance and strength training throughout the year for our players, depending on where they live.
Okay, so that's 365 that you guys are doing that, getting them better.
Now, and it's not 365 because recovery is important. After the AAU season, we take the time off, but then we just identify what needs to be done and what's the plan, leading up to high school, what's the plan during the high school season, and then what's needed transitioning into the club season.
Okay. And if we go back to the youth, because it kind of feels like it's year round, before I ask the question, when is the time to like recover and I guess like hone your craft? Like, when is that time and not be playing?
So I would say the least intense time generally is August and the fall. So August and the fall for youth players. So August being the time right after the spring and summer season.
Okay.
When school starts. and fall those first September, October, before the most competitive youth basketball starts. And
so
the
after
reason,
October, we starting again.
yeah, so basically after October, November is ramping up, and through February, that's the most competitive youth season. The reason being, the 8th graders that are talented and physically gifted enough to play up, they're forced to play with kids their age.
Mm-hmm.
So, for most cases, you're able to get the best competition for strictly middle school in between November and February. Now, March, April, all the way through the summer, through July, you're able to get elite competition as well. But, most on the girl side, the talented players play up somewhat, maybe a year, maybe 2. On the guys, they mostly play their age.
I guess I just struggle a little bit with the girls playing up, especially 2 years. Like, so what is that saying about the true 15s and the 16s? Like, how am I allowing a 7th grader to kind of bump with me and play with me? Like,
let me rephrase that. The majority don't play up for the girls.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
at the elite, so let's say the best 8th graders generally play 14 junior EYBL or 15U. A select few might play 16s, depending on the circuit and depending on the program.
How many circuit stops do you guys have? Is it 4 like the boys?
Yeah, it's 4 for each live period. It's 1 for each live period, so 4 total.
Okay. And how prominent I've seen on the boy side, I don't know of anybody from Nike, but I know on the girl side, like there's some NIL deals, right, that have been happening. So how prominent is that within the sport, with that being like a new thing?
Yeah. So now, when we say prominent, it's still very, very few. Now, it happens more often now, but it's still a select few that gets those type of NIL deals.
Correct. But it is, because I know it's probably like 3 or 4 that I could just think of off top that have gotten it. But that's more than I think on the boy side, if I want to. Or maybe I just don't know about the boys, but it felt like it was happening more on the girl side than it would on the boy side, is what I felt.
Yeah.
Do you believe that to be true?
I believe so. Especially as they start these additional leagues.
Okay.
And they have to make an investment and they need to pull talent. They are making deals. They are making deals for other brands as well.
Okay.
But we've had a wonderful player in our program. She was a Nike NIL athlete. She was one of the first. Jersey Robinson.
Jersey.
Yeah.
She just committed the the other day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so she's with Nike?
Yep.
Okay. We glanced over prep schools.
Mm-hmm.
For now, the most competitive league from the high school side for boys tend to be the EYBL Scholastic, which is by and large a bunch of prep schools.
Yep.
Are you guys seeing a trend of from the girl side at all of going to play at the preps, or are they still just doing like the privates and the publics, and that's sufficient?
Yeah, I mean, it's growing, but it's still a lot of private and public schools that are nationally competitive, especially in California.
Okay, got you. So as I'm in the gym with the boys, I've noticed that the parents are extremely, extremely passionate, and it seems to be transitioning to getting worse by the minute. Do you see that on the girl side? Like, is it the same thing in terms of we're riding the reps, we're riding the coaches, and sometimes other players? Do you see that is it the same on your end?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think a couple of factors that add to it is the instant gratification from phones and the attention from social media that we attribute to success. And kids that get early attention, they think that correlates to college scholarships, playing time, and success, and we just look over the process. And also, I feel basketball is one of the most disrespected sports.
In what sense?
Because I feel like people, just because they're able to watch it, they think they know enough to just critique and say whatever and say they don't even know the rules of the game. And so that's why I feel like it's the most disrespected, because the majority of people that are yelling at the refs and yelling at their kids could not at any point in their life demonstrate what they're asking their kid to do.
Oh, so you one of those that talk about Skip Bayless hasn't played, so he can't commentate. So you had to have played the game to be able to provide some insight.
So I'm gonna give you a reason why I'm saying this.
Okay.
So as a coach, my vantage point is usually the bench. So I don't hear what parents are saying during the game. But when I have the opportunity, I sit in the crowd. I sit so nobody, you don't necessarily see me, so I could just hear everything said around me. And there's plenty of times in the game where a kid might get an offensive rebound with 3 people around them, and they say, shoot it. And sometimes I'm just like, sir, there is no way this little kid can shoot that shot. She could do a Hakeem dream shake. I said, this little 9-year-old is going to do a Hakeem dream shake on 3 people.
Oh, so you
unrealistic expectations.
You actively say something to the parent while you're sitting there.
Yes, it depends. It depends on the day.
Wow.
It depends on
brave guy. Brave guy.
Yeah. So it's just like sometimes I'm just like, I just ask a question. I said, do you really think they could have shot that? I'm not combative. I just ask a question.
Usually for me, the first inkling that I get that the parent may not know that much basketball or haven't been around it or played it is when each time their son or daughter touches it, go, shoot it. That's the first thing where I say, I don't know how much they know about the game because it just doesn't make sense. And that's not translatable, right? That's the one thing that I feel bad for the kids because that's what's being pounded into their mind as they go home, as they go to practice, as they go to training. Go, take them. Like, it's just not realistic. And that's why I believe we have basketball's bad at times, a lot at times, because of that mentality. Some with the training that we have, and it's all cone based and individual move based in the IG Instagram gratification. So,
and they got to understand that the value can't just be scoring. The majority of the game is going to be without them having the ball. So that's the difference in between the basketball culture now here in the States versus internationally is we don't give context of why we do what we do or when we do what we do. It's all about me and myself and how good I can look scoring, as opposed to simplifying the game, understand how to play with other people, and not just, being so selfish, because some kids are very talented, but they lack the IQ. They're not coachable enough. Therefore, their careers are short-lived when it doesn't have to be.
Do you see like an influx or, right, you mentioned like the overseas or the other countries. Like, I know that by and large, people are saying that the rest of the world is catching up to the U.S. Is that the case on the girls' side as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, as the recruiting happens, you see the kids that come in there that are skilled, that are coachable, and that play the right way. Now, the athleticism, the size for a position, they are recruiting internationally at the top level programs, the top universities here in the States. They recruit here in the club scene here, but they also recruit just as hard internationally.
Okay. So they're starting to bring that over here as well on the girl side.
For sure.
I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything that you kind of want to get out to the audience as right? I just really want to go over the ladies' side and just see if we can answer some questions and see the similarities or differences between both sides of things. Is there anything that you want to cover?
I appreciate you giving me the time to speak on your platform. I think if there's anything that I can leave the audience with is just embrace the process. Don't compare your kid's path to anyone else. Let them struggle. Let them have setbacks. Encourage them, but encourage them to continue to do the work every day. It's something that you have to earn every day. They don't realize how much character matters and how you treat people when things are going great, how when things are going wrong, not always pointing the blame. It comes back to your benefit down the road. So it's just continue to do your best every day, be coachable, and let things fall where they may.
Got you. All right. Well, I definitely appreciate you, Coach, for taking the time to have the conversation, and good luck to you guys as you guys go forward to this season.